Why sanctions against Russia have failed. Nearly 11 years since the first sanctions were imposed on Russia in February 2014, the country's economy continues to grow, despite facing unparalleled international restrictions and an ongoing costly war in Ukraine. With over 20,000 sanctions placed on it, Russia remains the most sanctioned nation in the world. Yet, the intended crippling effects have fallen short. Here's why sanctions have largely failed against Russia. 1. Economic impact overshadowed by other factors. Sanctions, while impactful, have never matched the magnitude of other global economic shocks. For example, the oil price collapses in late 2014 and early 2016 had a far greater effect on Russia's economy. These events struck in three major areas. Government revenue, lower oil prices sharply reduced income from exports. Inflation and interest rates, the fall of the ruble led to soaring import costs, driving inflation and forcing interest rate hikes. Domestic spending, combined, these factors suppressed consumption and investment. By late 2015, analysts estimated that sanctions accounted for no more than 30% of the contraction in Russia's economic growth, far less than the oil crisis. Over time, as Russia reduced its reliance on Western capital, the impact of sanctions diminished. Furthermore, the economic fallout from the COVID-19 pandemic far exceeded the combined effect of sanctions. 2. Effective economic leadership. Russia's resilience owes much to its adept economic management, led by Central Bank Governor Elvira Nabiullina and Finance Minister Anton Siluanov. They provided stability through key policy shifts. Ruble policy. In late 2014, Russia moved to a floating exchange rate, allowing greater flexibility. Strategic devaluation. By 2016, Russia embraced a weak ruble to maximize the local currency value of oil and gas revenues. Reserve accumulation. Between 2014 and 2022, Russia increased its foreign reserves by 64%, $245 billion, bolstering financial security. This decisive leadership helped Russia weather external shocks and maintain economic stability, even under sanctions. 3. Increased self-sufficiency. Sanctions inadvertently accelerated Russia's drive for self-reliance, particularly in industry and agriculture. Industrial growth. The establishment of Rostec as a state-controlled industrial conglomerate streamlined production, particularly for military goods. Agricultural boom. Counter-sanctions and policies favoring import substitution spurred domestic food production. This included a revival of local markets and culinary culture, a positive side effect visible in everything from burrata to locally sourced steaks. While still reliant on mineral exports, Russia has strategically leveraged this comparative advantage during times of global uncertainty. 4. Political resolve and global realignments. Sanctions were always a political tool with economic means, designed to pressure Moscow into compliance. However, Russian leadership viewed these measures as unjustified and illegal, refusing to bow to Western demands. Counterproductive effects. Rather than capitulating, sanctions strengthened Russia's resolve and bolstered its partnerships with nations in the BRICS bloc. These nations have increasingly incorporated anti-sanction rhetoric in their communiques and worked towards alternative global financial systems. Domestic support. Internally, sanctions fostered a rally around the flag effect, uniting the public against perceived Western aggression. 5. The limits of further sanctions. Western policymakers continue to advocate for increased sanctions, but their effectiveness has waned. For example, discussions around seizing $300 billion in frozen Russian assets face significant obstacles. Economic risks. Confiscating these assets would undermine the credibility of Europe's financial system, especially during political and economic crises in major nations like France and Germany. Political implications. Such a move could harden Russia's stance, making a negotiated settlement in Ukraine less likely. Moreover, with most impactful sanctions already in place, the West has few levers left to pull. Conclusion. Sanctions against Russia have failed to achieve their primary objectives. While they have undoubtedly imposed costs, the Russian economy has proven resilient, thanks to effective leadership, increased self-reliance, and the prioritization of long-term stability over short-term gains. Politically, sanctions have only reinforced Moscow's defiance, while stimulating a realignment in global power structures. As the war in Ukraine nears its third year and Kyiv faces setbacks on the battlefield, Western leaders may need to reconsider their reliance on sanctions. A negotiated solution, rather than economic punishment, may offer the only viable path forward.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, share, and like the video. Check out these other From the Other Side specials.